Okay, so we're going to do a summary on chapter 11, and we want to look for the phrase gained approval, to just do a summary through the whole chapter to see how often that's mentioned, because I think it's mentioned a lot. Yeah. So in verse 2, by faith, the men of old gained approval. So that's the first place that that's said. But then when we look down, by faith, verse 4, by faith Abel offered to God a better sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained the testimony that he was righteous. That really means the same thing as he gained approval. He was pleasing to God, and he was considered righteous because of his faith. So verse 4, obtained the testimony that he was righteous. And then verse 5, and this is Enoch. So he obtained the witness. That's pretty much the same thing as obtain the testimony that he was pleasing to God. So God took him, and he wasn't. Yeah. All right. Then for Noah, verse 7, Noah became an heir of the righteousness which is in accordance to faith, according to faith. So that's the same thing. He obtained the witness. He obtained a testimony. He gained approval of God, and God counted it for him, for Noah, as righteousness. So then all these other guys, it starts listing Abram, Sarah, all these died in faith without receiving what was promised. They didn't receive, like for Abraham, they didn't receive the promise of the land, but they did receive the approval of God, and God rewarded Abraham with a son and many descendants. So these people, some of them got what they were looking for, but some of them didn't. So they confessed that they were strangers and aliens on the earth, and they were seeking a better country. So then it says, therefore God prepared a city for them. So by faith Abram, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promise was offering up his only begotten son. So this is like God and Jesus. This is a picture. And Abram considered God was able to raise people even from the dead. So if he would have gone ahead and killed Isaac, he knew God would raise him from the dead. He knew that by faith. All right, so then it goes on to talk about the things that people did because of their faith. So by faith Joseph blessed the two sons, or blessed all of the sons of Israel, and gave orders concerning his body, or his bones. By faith Moses, he was hidden, and he considered the reproaches, the bad sayings about Jesus, greater value than the treasures of Egypt. All right, so by faith the walls of Jericho fell. By faith Rahab the harlot didn't perish. All right, women received back their dead by resurrection, and others, these were all the bad things. They were tortured, they were mocked, they were scourged with a whip, they were imprisoned, they were stoned, they were sawn in two, they were tempted, they were put to death with a sword. They went about with like really bad clothes, skins. They wandered around in deserts and mountains and caves. So, and all of these, having gained approval, so there we are again, through their faith, didn't receive what was promised, because God had provided something better for us, so that apart from us, they would not be made perfect. So anyway, this gained approval is a picture of God being pleased with us. And without faith, it's impossible to please God. So that's from maybe verse 5, or let's see. Verse 6. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. So when these men gained approval, they pleased God. When they gained a testimony, they pleased God. When they were declared righteous, they pleased God. And all of that's by faith. All right, so that's chapter 11, the faith chapter. So now it's talking about the men of old.
The men of old.
Yeah, the men of old. Who were the men of old from yesterday?
Melchizedek? Melchizedek? No.
He was one that they talked about, but who were in general? Why does it say the men of old?
In Old Testament.
Yeah. These are all the Old Testament. In this book of Hebrews, it's a New Testament book. But he's talking about all the men in the Old Testament. Yeah. And he's letting the people that he's writing to, he's letting them understand the people in the Old Testament, they were saved by grace through faith just like us. It's by faith. Yeah. It's not by works. They weren't saved by obeying the 10 Commandments. They were saved because of their faith in God. Yeah. And he's talking about this big group of people. So remember I told you yesterday, before Jesus was raised from the dead, all of these people, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all of these people, when they died, Moses, Noah, they went to this special place, and I don't know if it was inside the earth or where it was, but it was a special place, and it was called Abraham's bosom. Another word for it was paradise. The people who believed in the coming Messiah and they believed in God's promise about the coming Messiah, they went to a special place where it was paradise. You know the word paradise? Paradise. The Garden of Eden was a paradise. It was a perfect environment. It was like heaven on earth. That's paradise. Yeah. These people who believed in God, they went to that place, paradise. The people who did not have faith in God, they went to hell. So there are two different locations. Yeah. When Jesus was crucified, I think he went to both of these places. He went to hell and he preached to those people to let them know, you missed your chance because you didn't believe in me. And then he was with the people in paradise. And then when he was raised up and went up into heaven, in Ephesians it says he led captive a host of captives. So the people who had believed in God, they were still like captured because they weren't with God yet. And Jesus freed them. He opened the gates of paradise, and all of these people from Adam and Eve through the time of Jesus, everyone who had believed in God, they were there. Millions of people. So Jesus opened the gates when he was raised, and he led them up. And so all of those people are now in heaven. Yeah? And now there is no paradise. There is no Abraham's bosom. When people die now that are in faith in Jesus, boom, they're with Jesus when they die. Wanda is with Jesus. Your dad, Patlius, with Jesus. Yeah? So there's all these people in heaven that are Christians. What do you think they're doing?
In heaven?
Yeah.
Praying.
So let's look. So he's talking about all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to actually obtain the testimony and became an heir. Let's see. Obtain the witness. That's kasaxion. That's the same as testimony. So these people. So when there's a jury trial, do you know what jury is?
Jury.
Yeah, like a trial, like a trial for people. There's a judge and there's a jury.
Jury.
The jury's a bunch of people, and they're listening to the evidence. And these people say, based on this evidence, guilty. Based on this evidence, not guilty. Yeah, but the jury is listening to the evidence and they're watching what's happening. So the jury is like a witness. And these people in chapter 11, they obtained a testimony and they became witnesses of the truth of God.